What is up, YouTube? It is the Mister. How y'all doing today? Hopefully you are doing well. Real quick, I did want to mention real quick that if you do enjoy the videos that you see, please do not hesitate to hit that subscribe button. And also don't forget that you can also catch me on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/the_Mister. The schedule is down below, but that is every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So other than that, let's jump right into it. If you guys remember from last time, we had just finished field 18. We had just finished liming and planting, and we have one more stage of fertilizer left to go. So let's just get that going real quick. It appears that I do have herbicide in here, so one of the neat features of Farm Sim 19 is that you can actually unload the product in a lot of your implements. The only one that I think is kind of not allowed is like your seeders. So by doing that, and it's not gonna work, guys. What is going on? I don't know why this is not working. You know what? Let's just try over here. Okay, it appears to be broke, guys. You can normally unload it, and it's just not letting me. So we may have to go ahead and we'll still get the job done. We'll just have to use a different implement. Yeah, as you can see, it's still trying to go. So we will just place this here, and then we'll have to remember that for next time to make sure we clean up that herbicide first. So we'll just jump over here into our solid fertilizer spreader. Right now it does currently have lime in it, so we'll have to offload that. Hopefully it's not something being broken with the game and not allowing us to unload it. Other than that, I hope everyone has been doing well. I have had a little bit of a weird week. We had some pretty nasty weather come in. It was we had some colder temperatures, but where I work, I work at a waste plant, so we actually have to go and get different samples from a just the stream that's down the street. And with all the weather, like it always seems to happen with me on my work days. I do work, starting on Sunday, work 12 hours, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then 6 hours on Wednesday. But it always seems like the bad weather that comes in always likes to come in on a Sunday, which I don't particularly mind, other than it. Like the plows in our area, they don't like to plow the roads on a Sunday. I mean, they'll do it if it's real bad, but it does seem like they kind of they're way behind. It's not as plowed as it would be, say, on a Monday morning or something like that. So but where we're at, all the roads that I was on they're actually like county roads, or they're dirt roads. Actually pretty rough going. In this particular week, I had to get the stream samples like I normally do, but we had somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 inches of snow fall overnight. So The roads were a little slick getting in. I was able to get in all right. Getting down there to get those storm samples on those county roads, they did not have them plowed. So I, got down there in the down to the stream, started taking the different samples and the temps that we needed to take for our state compliance. And before I was done, I there was basically 4 or 5 different spots that I had to monitor. I had gotten down to the very last one. I think I was just getting uh, the last measurement of the flow, like how fast it was flowing. And where I had placed my foot, I had slid. Well, the problem is where my foot was like on an embankment right before it actually went into the water. So first thing on Sunday, showing up at starting work at 7:30, I got there, went out to go get them storage samples. I'm normally back by 7:30ish, 8 o'clock at the latest. I literally fell into the water. Like, it was pretty much from my waist down, just completely soaked. I had my wireless headphones on. They went for a dunk in the water. Found out later that they completely ruined. They wouldn't even shut off. That's how bad it was. I think something shorted in them, obviously from the water. But when they were initially there, I couldn't shut them off, so they were just sitting there running. And I think between that and the water, it just killed the battery. So I do have to get those replaced. But I fell in the creek right away within the first half hour of my shift, and it was kind of weird. Like, panic almost immediately set in because I knew that it was colder out, and I figured, well, with it being as cold as it was, I just fell in the water. My mind immediately raced to there's the chance of hypothermia. So I got my stuff that I had, jumped in the truck real quick, and kind of stood or sat there for a second, and kind of came to the realization, okay, this is not it wasn't horrible. Like, I was obviously cold, but it wasn't to the point where I was like freezing. So I kind of, composed myself. It's like, okay, well, I've got everything done. I just need to get back to the shop. I had extra, work clothes at the shop, change when I get there. Be no big deal. Well, I get all the way back to the truck, or, start the truck. And as I had mentioned before, we had all that snowfall like the night before. Because of that, the truck we have for work it's only a 2-wheel drive truck, and there wasn't a whole lot of weight in the back, so it can't really cut through that much snow, as much as any vehicle will struggle. Ours had a particularly rough time, and the roads we were on are back roads, so even the main roads that were plowed, they hadn't gotten to the back roads yet. And so there was basically one set of tracks going all the way down this road. And my thought was, okay, what I normally do is I go down to the next driveway. I have to turn around and call her good there. But because of how deep the snow was, anytime I tried to turn into one of those driveways, it would actually, the back tires would start slipping. Now, let's see. We did get that done, so that is 100% fertilized. You know what? While we're waiting, we might as well see what we have for some missions. Hopefully, we're going to have some decent fertilizer missions in here. Oh, 7, 16. Yeah, let's double check the map. Get something near us here. 16 actually wouldn't be that bad. We get a decent amount from there, and that's just a little short jog away. 7's fairly decent sized. Yeah, let's go ahead and take this one on 16. Get some funds built up because we're looking a little bit on the rough side funds wise. So, I do have the multiple contracts mod. Basically, all it does is it allows you to pull any number of contracts. So from time to time, you may see me to multiple, like actually have more than one active, and that is how you actually go about doing that. So let's get over here to 16, and we will, make some money. We're sitting pretty rough. But yeah, as I was saying, the roads were kind of slick, couldn't really turn around, so I kept driving down the road a little bit further, a little bit, further. I get to another section where it looked like I might be able to turn around. Same thing happened. Tires would start slipping. I finally got far enough down to a driveway where I thought maybe I'd be able to make it. And as I was attempting to make the turn, I kind of got stuck in front of their driveway. I struggled with it a little bit, but I was finally able to kind of get back so that it wasn't at least stuck. I was, facing down their driveway. It's okay. Well, it looks like there was enough room. It was a pretty decent, length driveway, but it actually had a hill kind of going down and then a hill going up, and then they had like a big area where I figured if I could at least get up that hill, I could turn around. So I actually start going down their driveway, going down the section where it was, a slope down wasn't bad. Almost immediately upon hitting the upslope, that's when it kind of like started sliding. Like tires just started spinning, was losing grip. So I, ended up stopping the truck. And as I got out of the truck, I could see the people that lived there. Their truck was, a little bit further down. You could actually see the lights actually flickering, like someone had engaged like an auto start on their car. Kind of got out, and I happened to look at the house, and the guy was standing out there at his window, kind of, wave, indicating that he was on his way out. And he kind of understood with, the way the weather was. But when he got out there, kind of exchange a few words. I apologize for getting stuck in their driveway, and but he understood with the weather and everything else. And the way my truck was positioned, he's like, well, what do you want to try and do? It's like, well, and kind of told him my plan was to get up to the top there and turn around, but it just started slipping. He's like, well, go ahead and, give it back up a little bit, give it some gas, because, I wasn't going to damage anything. Initially, I didn't really want to put the, pedal down too far because I didn't want to tear up the driveway. But it was just a dirt driveway, and at least by him kind of giving the permission on it, it was considerably better. And the only thing he was worried about is making sure that I didn't like veer off the driveway, because he did have some equipment that was kind of off in the grass. But if I had gotten that far out, it would have required like a tow truck or a tractor to pull me out. So I backed up and, really gave it some gas, and I think I got maybe a foot or two further, and it just started slipping again. I don't think there was enough weight in the back of the truck to really give the tires a good grip. So he kind of, okay, you know, kind of knew what the situation was. So he basically said he was going to try and plow the bottom end of the driveway, and maybe from that, it would give me the grip that I needed to at least get on the road, turned around, and get headed back the way that I needed to. So he pulled the, you know, skid steer out, started getting the whole the whole road and the end of his driveway kind of plowed. And mind you, I'm still, you know, sitting there in my clothes just being soaked. And other than that, like, it actually wasn't too bad. I was a little chilly. Don't mind, you know, don't confuse me with saying, "Oh yeah, I would love to be in that situation all the time." No, it sucked, but it wasn't as bad as it could be. So he got the, you know, driveway clear and had me go all the way down to, you know, end of the driveway, turn around. Everything was fine. So I headed back to the shop, and I get there, and like I said before, normally that process takes, I'm normally there and back within about 30 minutes. What makes it so bad is right now I'm working by myself at work. There's no one else there on Sundays. The guy that normally works with me has actually been out for medical reasons. So as of right now, I've been working solo on Sundays, and it's one of them jobs where if nothing goes wrong, you're busy, but you're not like overwhelmed. But as soon as something breaks or whatever, you're behind the rest of the day. So it's not the ideal situation, but it's manageable. So get back there, and like I said, it normally only takes me about 30 minutes. Start time is at 7, so you figure somewhere around 7:30 or a quarter to 8, I'm generally done and back to the shop. I get back there, and it was actually 9:30, so it took me to go get those stream temps and everything about an hour and a half from the time I left to get back, and it was just a whole ordeal, guys. I mean, it was bad. You know, the rest of the day after that seemed to go fairly decent. It was just that morning was pretty rough. We are actually knocking this field out pretty quick, guys, so yep. And as you can see, when you're doing them contracts, it doesn't do you any good to continue the rest of the way through, because then you're just wasting your own product. So we will jump in here quick and take care of that active contract. And just like that, we're not as poor. So let us get back up here to our homestead. Or you know what? We were going to go and check out 7 as well. 16 we actually knocked out pretty quick, so why don't we go ahead and head up to 7 as well, and get that knocked out. Where was it? 7. Oh, I think we took too... Nope, there it is. Okay. We will accept 7. And I've found that actually doing these contracts seems to be the fastest way of getting some money. I do recommend that if you do them, you at least try to use your own equipment. You can lease it, of course, but you do tend to get more money if it is your own equipment. Now, that being said, if you are going to lease equipment, what I would recommend doing is going in there and I would look at what type of missions there is. If there is a ton of missions for fertilizing, find the one that has the biggest field. So in our case on this map, you're probably looking at something on 12 or maybe even 6, 14. Like, look for your bigger fields. And when you go through and look at your contracts for it, look at what they would be giving you for leased items. Because the trick is you can use that once you've completed that mission, once you have, it's switched from active to completed, you can still use that equipment and accept other contracts. So if you use the stuff from a bigger field, you're obviously going to get done with the smaller fields faster. So like this one, you can see this is the ideal combine, decent size header. But now if you go to like 9, well, it's different product. Again, different product. It's not cooperating with me, guys. Okay. Well, I mean, basically the equipment they would give you on a smaller field is not going to be the same as what they would give you on a larger field. So like this one, you're going to have a smaller combine with a smaller header. So if you use that equipment from a bigger field, you can get more stuff done quicker. So just keep that in mind if you ever do the contracts and you are leasing equipment. But so other than that, the day kind of went without too many hiccups afterwards. Sunday is kind of a busier day for most of the shifts. Recently here, it's kind of been business as normal. We got a new machine in. We had an old machine that, because of the nature of the wastewater that we have coming in, it's all coming from a chicken processing plant. So a lot of the wastewater has the remnants of the chicken that they're processing. In turn, what that means is the solids that come in have a lot of oils in it. Like you would think, like that kind of the chicken skin is real kind of greasy. Well, you imagine that the whole chicken that ends up in the water, and any oil that they use for like the deep fryers periodically they have to dump, all of that comes to us. So this machine is actually was originally designed for, I believe, making wine. They would put the grape with all the pulp in it, and it would spin. It would crush the grapes, and then all the juice from the grapes, that's what this thing basically would catch, and then it would dump all of the skin from the grapes into wherever it's going to, but that's kind of like your trash. It would dump that off somewhere else, so it basically separated all those components. And then you would obviously use the juice to make wine, or whatever you're doing with it. In our application, we actually use it for the sludge that comes in. It's, like I said, real high in oils. So this machine, spins in a circle, very high RPMs, and it actually causes the oil and the water and the solids to all separate into different areas of the machine. We recently got a new machine in, and because I'm working by myself, the general trend used to be to clean it during my shift on Sundays, and then the next crew would do all the maintenance on it. The new machine doesn't take nearly as long to clean, but with everything else going on, it is, kind of difficult for me to get to it. So what I've been doing is, running longer, processing more, as much of what's coming in as possible. And then once there's no supply coming in anymore, that's pretty much when we kind of cut off the machine and kind of get it rinsed out and ready to be cleaned. And then now night shift has actually been the ones that have been taking care of cleaning it. So there, there's that, and then we also have like maintenance on the different stuff around the plant that we have to do each week. Nothing major, changing filters, general inspection of like the motors and the pumps that are used from day to day. Since Sundays are not, we don't have a real lot of demand coming in. If there is something that needs to be taken down, that is the day for it. Can we get this all in one run here? Are we that good? Oh God! If I can just there we go. We get a straight run at it. It looks like we might have just a tiny bit at the very end because of the curve that we've got going, but for the most part, we have managed to catch everything. And contract is finished. So let's get this loaded up and kind of cut back to our homestead. And just like that, guys, we're definitely sitting better than we were. We can at least afford what we need for some more crops and everything else. So I don't really think you guys need to see me drive all the way back to the homestead. So I am going to call it here. And as always, if you did enjoy the video, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I am trying to get a custom URL, and to do that I do need to get 100 subs, so please hit that subscribe button. And other than that, I will see you back here next week for another episode of Putting in Time. So until then, y'all take care.